Good evening, Nigeria. Welcome to DV Real News TV. I am John Boss. Here are the major stories making headlines across Nigeria. In politics, attention is already turning toward the 2027 elections. In the economy, Nigerians continue to deal with high living costs, while the government says its economic reforms are beginning to bring results. The government is also working to improve crude oil supply to local refineries. In sports, the Super Falcons face disappointment at the Women's Africa Cup of Nations, and Team Nigeria records a strong performance at the Commonwealth Games. In politics, Nigeria's political space is becoming more active as the country moves closer to the 2027 general elections. The August 15, 2026 Osun State governorship election has come to an end following weeks of intense political campaigns and mobilization across the state's 30 local government areas. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has declared the incumbent governor, Ademola Adeleke, the winner of the keenly contested election, securing another term in office. Adeleke, who contested under the Accord Party platform, recorded 511,067 votes, placing him ahead of his closest rival, Bola Oyebamiji of the All Progressives Congress, APC, who finished with 444,815 votes. The result brings to a close a closely watched electoral contest that attracted significant political attention across Osun State. Adeleke's victory means the incumbent will continue in office for a second term, while the APC and its candidate now face the task of reviewing their campaign performance and charting their next political steps. The election outcome is also expected to shape the political landscape in Osun as attention gradually moves from the campaign period to governance and the expectations of the electorate. For now, the mandate has been decided, and Governor Adeleke begins the next phase of his administration with another electoral victory behind him. The 2027 election is still ahead, but political activity is already increasing. Atiku speaks on refineries. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has criticized the federal government over Nigeria's refineries. He has questioned the money spent on refinery rehabilitation. The issue of Nigeria's refineries has remained controversial for many years. The country has large crude oil reserves, but has struggled to maintain its government-owned refineries. The growth of private refining has changed the situation. However, many Nigerians are still waiting to see the full benefits of local refining. The big question is simple. Can Nigeria produce enough refined petroleum products locally and reduce dependence on imports? That question remains important. Security. Security is still a major concern across Nigeria. The government recently announced the rescue of more than 300 people who had been kidnapped in Niger and Kwara states. The rescue was welcomed by the authorities.
The National Executive Committee of the Labour Party had earlier resolved to remove Abiur as the party's national chairman.
Continue to face
Following
pressure
that
to
decision,
protect communities
a 29-member
and
caretaker
respond quickly to
committee
attacks.
was installed,
The government
headed
has
by
also
former
announced
Finance
improved
Minister
welfare
Senator
for members of the
Usman,
armed
with
forces.
Hun Nwakoka
Officials say
as
the move
secretary.
is aimed at supporting
This
military
restructuring
personnel
emerged
who
from a
continue to
stakeholder
fight
meeting held in
insecurity across the country.
Umuahia, led by
The economy.
ABI's state
Now
governor,
to the
Alex
Nigerian
Odi,
economy.
and
The
notably
government says
chaired
its
by Peter
economic
Obi,
reforms are
once a
beginning to
political
improve the
ally of
country's
Abiur.
financial situation.
However,
But for many
Abiur
Nigerians,
contested his
life
removal,
remains
turning to the
difficult.
federal high court
Food
in
prices
Abuja
are
for
still a major
validation.
concern.
He claimed
Transport
he had been
costs are high.
re-elected at a convention
Electricity
held in
costs
New
continue
on
to
March
put pressure on
27,
families and
2024.
businesses.
In
Many
October of that
Nigerians
year,
are therefore
the High
asking
Court
one
ruled in
important
his favor,
question.
directing
When will the benefits of
INEC
the
to
economic
continue
reforms
recognizing
reach
him
ordinary
as the
people?
legitimate chairman,
The government
a
says the
decision
reforms are
upheld by the Court
necessary
of
to build
Appeal
a
in
stronger
January
economy.
2025.
But Nigerians want to see those
But
changes
the Supreme
reflected
Court
in their
had the
daily
final
lives.
say. On
Oil and
April 4th,
refineries.
a five-member
The government
panel
is
led by
also looking
Justice
at ways to
Inyango
make
Koro
crude oil
threw
more
out the
available
rulings
to
of the
local
lower
refineries.
courts. The
This
court
is
determined
important
that
because
neither the
refineries
Federal
need a
High
steady
Court
supply
nor
of
the Court
crude
of
to
Appeal
operate properly.
had the jurisdiction
Industry
to interfere
operators have
in what are
complained
called
about
the
the cost of getting
internal
crude oil.
affairs of the
New
party.
arrangements could make it
In a
easier for
strongly
local
worded
refineries to
judgment,
obtain
the
crude
court
directly.
emphasized that
If
political
successful,
parties are
the move
autonomous
could support
entities
domestic
governed by their
refining.
own
It
constitutions
could also
and
help
guidelines.
Nigeria
The
reduce
court
its
stated,
dependence on
and I quote,
imported
courts
petroleum
must
products.
not interfere in
For
internal
ordinary
party
Nigerians,
matters
the
unless
hope is that a
national
stronger
law or
local
criminal
refining
conduct
industry
is
will eventually
involved.
help create a more
Justice
stable
Okoro
fuel market.
criticized the trial judge
Business.
for overreaching
Nigeria
by
is also
validating
working
Abiur's
to attract
leadership
more foreign
based on a
investment.
relief that he
The
said should
government
not
has
have
been
been
meeting with
entertained in the
investors
first
from
place.
different countries.
The court cited
The
multiple
focus includes
precedents,
energy,
including the
tourism,
McCoy v. UAC
infrastructure,
case, to argue
manufacturing,
that
and
without legal
technology.
standing, the
Nigeria
earlier
has a
verdicts
large
were built on
population
shaky
and a
ground.
growing consumer market.
Even
This
more
makes the country
striking was the
attractive
court's
to
remark
investors.
on a related
But
appeal
businesses also
concerning
need
the Labour
reliable
Party's
electricity,
candidate for the
good
Ondo State
roads,
governorship
efficient
election,
ports, and clear
where it said
government
leadership
policy.
issues were not
Local
even a point of
businesses are facing
contention.
the same
Yet,
challenges.
the lower court
Many
went beyond its
entrepreneurs want
remit
to
to
expand their
recognize
companies
Abiur's
and employ
leadership.
more people. But the cost
and
of
in its
operating
final
a
comments,
business remains
the
a major
Supreme Court
concern.
did not mince
Technology.
words.
Nigeria's
It urged political
technology sector
parties to
continues
respect
to
their
grow.
own rules,
The country's
noting that
internet
internal
domain
rifts
has now
could be
passed
minimized if party leaders
250,000
followed due
registrations.
process
More Nigerian
and stepped
companies
down
and
when their tenure
organizations are
ends.
using local domain
With this
names.
landmark ruling,
This shows
Julius
the growing
Abior
importance
is no
of the
longer
digital
recognized
economy.
as national chairman.
Nigeria already
The
has
Labour
a
Party
large
must now
technology
regroup
sector.
and chart a
The
fresh
country
course
has
forward,
companies working
one
in
grounded
fintech,
in
online
constitutional
shopping,
compliance.
transportation,
That's the story
and
as
other
it
digital
stands
services.
tonight. We'll continue
However,
tracking
better
political
internet
developments
access,
and bring you
electricity,
updates
and
as they
digital
unfold.
skills are still needed.
I'm John Boss,
Sports.
and you're watching
Now to
DV
sports.
Real News TV.
Nigeria's Super
Stay
Falcons
informed.
suffered
Stay ahead.
disappointment at the 2026 The result was disappointing for Nigerian football fans. The Super Falcons have a long history of success in African women's football, but other African countries are improving their women's football programs. Nigeria will now have to look at what went wrong and prepare for future competitions. Commonwealth Games. There was better news for Nigeria at the Glasgow 2026 Commonwealth Games. Team Nigeria finished 7th on the medals table. The country won 24 medals. Nigeria was also the highest-ranked African country at the Games. The performance shows that Nigeria has talented athletes across different sports. But more investment is needed. Athletes need good training facilities, proper coaching and strong support. With the right investment, Nigeria can continue to compete strongly at international competitions. Football. In club football, Nigerian striker Taiwo Awoniyi is reportedly moving from Nottingham Forest to Coventry City. The reported transfer is worth around £17 million. Awoniyi has spent several years at Nottingham Forest. The new move could give him a fresh opportunity. Nigerian football fans will be watching his progress closely. Grassroots football. Grassroots football is also growing in Nigeria. In Lagos, Shoe Close won the 2026 Lagos State Street Soccer Stars Oshodi competition. The team defeated Amusa Street 2-0. Competitions like this give young players the chance to show their talent. Many Nigerian football stars started from small community pitches. With more support for grassroots football, more young talents could get the opportunity to become professional players. John Boss. And that is our report for today. Nigeria continues to face challenges in politics, security, and the economy. But there are also opportunities in business, technology, sports, and other sectors. As the country moves toward 2027, Nigerians will be watching closely. They want better security. They want more jobs. They want affordable food and transportation. And they want a stronger economy. That brings us to the end of this edition of Nigerian news, politics, sports, and business on DV Real News TV. I am John Boss. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to DV Real News TV, turn on your notification bell and share this video. Until next time, stay safe and stay informed. Good night.